Fleury checks him along the boards, but Brown stays with it, manages to knock it to the corner, and then Musil trying to clear, put it over the glass out of play.
All right, we're going to do a little instructional video here, Don. Here's an example of how you do a perfectly timed sliding stop. Musil gets the pads down just as Brown is ready to shoot, so Brown can't stop with the fake. He's already into the windup. He also protects himself by having his legs in front of the puck as opposed to sliding too late and getting his face or upper body there. And he also brought that bottom leg down so that if the puck hits the bottom leg, he kicks it out to the boards. A perfect blocked shot and some of that sacrifice that's necessary to stay in games like this.
He led the Flames this year in the plus-minus category at a plus 38. Trevor Linden comes in across the line. Puck was fed to the front of the net. He couldn't reach it. Now Bure has it. Over to Lume, back to Brown. He tips it into Bure. Traffic in front of the net. Brown winds up. His shot deflects at the side of the net. Linden was knocked down as he tried to get a stick on it. And then a pile-up at the side of the goal, and Linden is unhappy with Kevin Dahl. As the play is whistled down, Linden took a beating trying to take up a position in front of Vernon and then at the side of the net.
Well, Dahl very, very strong on his skates, and he needed all of his strength to counter two Canucks right in front of the net. He's wrestling with Gellin, and then Linden comes in and says, hey, how about me? He gets involved with both of them as he gets taken down by Trevor Linden. And that shot on its way in just missed. Dahl playing that desperation hockey that we've seen a fair share of over this entire game.
In the corner, and again in trying to clear, he puts it over the glass out of play. Well, a fair bit of confusion this year as to how the playoffs work for the next round. Let me say this, let me preface my comments. Teams do not lose their seed position. Toronto and Dallas, number 3 and 4, have advanced, so it depends on which teams win here tonight, and this series and the series between San Jose and Detroit. Detroit, of course, if they win, would remain the number 1 seed in the conference.
Well, lots of combinations and permutations that are still available. Toronto and Dallas, the only 2 that are set as far as seeding right now.
Courtnall. Bure to Ronning. Ronning is checked. Missed Courtnall with a pass. Patrick goes to the corner. He chips it to the boards and kept in by Bure initially, but then it comes free, and Ronning knocks it down the ice. 18 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here comes Bure. He almost lost it to Titov. Now it's Charbonneau. In across the line. Charbonneau looking, holding the puck. Taken in against the boards by Sullivan. Back at the line, Brown is able to keep it in. Brown gets it again. Charbonneau can't control it. Ronnie is back in the ice. 9:28 remaining in the period. Al McInnes just slides it into the Vancouver zone as the Flames make a change. The puck almost got beyond him, but Greg Adams couldn't control it, and Mike Vernon does, holding it for a face-off with 9:17 left in the third.
A reminder that Primetime News follows our hockey game in BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. 2 other games played tonight, both finals. Detroit surviving, series tied at 3, beating San Jose 7-1, and the Leafs advancing, beating Chicago 1-0.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs will go into the next round, and they could play one of 3 teams. San Jose, Calgary, or Dallas. The only team they won't meet is Vancouver.
But it was close between Toronto and Vancouver in the first round. There was a pretty good chance that they would have met.
Now it's Musil. Banking it off the boards and out. Nieuwendyk tried to steal from Didick, and it deflected into the Vancouver bench, and the player who grabbed the puck flipped it over the glass for a souvenir for a fan sitting behind the Vancouver box.
Well, I thought when Joe Nieuwendyk hurt his knee in Game 3 that he perhaps was just a little apprehensive because he had missed 20 games with a knee injury this season, and he wanted to be absolutely sure. But I talked to him about it, and he said no. He said, when I heard it, it really hurt, and I needed a full game off and a few days to recover. He's comfortable with it now, but he had a fair amount of concern when he caught his foot in a rut behind the net in the third game of the series.
Didick pinches in from the point, but Walls gets there first. To McInnes. Lead pass for Stern. Stern was upended. Nieuwendyk races after the loose puck, throws it in front, and Tim Hunter got back to defend. Hunter rips it off the glass all the way down the ice, and Musil touches for an icing call with 8:15 remaining in the third period. Jeff Courtnall was the overtime hero in Game 5. He's one of 5 players with the Canucks who have won a Stanley Cup. Courtnall's in 1988 with the Edmonton Oilers. And from Edmonton, he moved to Washington. Didn't have any real playoff success with the Washington Capitals, although he did score a goal this evening against Chris Terreri. And now, of course, he's with the Vancouver Canucks, and he was the hero in Game 5. And we talked earlier about players throwing a football around outside the dressing room, staying loose prior to a game, and Jeff Courtnall is a regular participant.
Well, there's lots of things that you can do before the game. Fix sticks, throw footballs, a little bit of stretching. You always come down to the rink earlier during the playoffs. And unless you got a pile of sticks to fix, you got to find something to take your mind off what's going to take place in a few hours. And whipping a few spirals between each other is a great way to do it.
Linden has moved out of the face-off circle. Adams will replace him against Kissio. Adams wins the draw, and Calgary makes a complete change. The Flames all moved out and went directly to the bench as Dave King opted to send out a different 5, trying to get the checking unit out against Pavel Bure. Lume keeps it in at the point. Zalapski ties him up. Puck is freed and flipped out with Merzen retreating. You don't often see a change like that where the faceoff goes to the corner and then all 5 players immediately head to the bench.
Well, you have to be very aware of where the faceoff goes. Vancouver has used that quick play from McLean right up to the blue line, and if 5 guys are heading off and Vancouver has got a guy over across the ice, can generate a scoring opportunity right away. The Edmonton Oilers were great at that with Fuhr. Get the puck up to the red line on a change, and they got a 2-on-1 or a breakaway.
The executive producer of Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC is Ron Harrison. Tonight's game from the Coliseum is being produced by Larry Isaac. Our director here in Vancouver is Ron Forsyth. Calling the replays for this series is ISO director Don Moss. And a special thanks to all the other production and technical personnel who helped make this telecast possible. As well, the head of Network Television Sports is Alan Clark, and CBC's senior executive producer is Doug Sellers.
Well, we've had a little switch in the shot department. Vancouver's being outshot in the third period by a margin of 7-2.
Brown's shot is blocked by Dahl, and Dahl skates it out of the zone. Roberts trying to get away from Momesso, but Momesso keeps a stick on it. Kissio works to the corner. He and Ronning race in there, and a penalty call against Kissio. He knocked Ronning down in the corner, and he'll go off for 2 minutes.
Well, these are tough penalties to take at this stage in the game. Whether you're guilty or not as a player, you just have your heart sink. I don't think Kissio here is doing much more than taking Ronning softly. You can see him put some weight on the stick and push the hips of Ronning down. Not really a cross-check, but a way to throw your opponent off balance a bit. That one's on the line as to whether it's a call of the illegal nature or not. But that doesn't make any difference. As soon as the referee's made that call, you're done, and all you can rely on is your penalty-killing unit. You see Kissio Ronning is bent down a little bit. May have been slipping already. And Kissio comes up with the puck, and then he gets sent to the penalty box.
Well, the Vancouver Canuck power play during the regular season was #1 on the road, #24 at home. And as we said in game 1 of the series, Pat Quinn said he was just as puzzled as anyone else as to why the Canucks had so many problems on home ice, but he thought they tried to get too fancy perhaps at times, and that was the reason the power play unit struggled. Here's Bure, who scored 25 power play goals this year. To the line for Brown, into Lume. Lume had problems as he overskated it, has to leave it in the corner for Bure. Lume back to the line to Brown. Brown couldn't get set for a shot. He gives it to Lume, the fans imploring them to shoot. Linden feeds Brown to Lume. And the 2-point men aren't able to control it, and Lume goes back after it, being watched by Roberts. Linden for Courtnall. Courtnall trying to slip around Zalapsky. He's knocked down, and James Patrick gets the puck, can't get it out. But Gary Roberts should be able to flip it, but he puts it over the glass out of play.
Boy, you have to be watching if you're a fan. That puck came over on an angle and caught a lady right on top of the head. Canucks trainer Larry Ashley very quick with a towel. Courtnall with great speed. Zalapsky puts the hook on him. And Patrick then clears the puck out of harm's way. Zalapsky's got great legs. If you look at the way this guy's built, tremendous power in his lower body. That allows him to have the strength to skate forwards and backwards. You know, if you look at defensemen, it always amazes me how well they can skate backwards. Zalapsky can skate north just as quick as he can skate south. And that's why he's the perfect guy to watch a guy like Bure. Face-offs start to become more key as you wind down in the third period. Fleury has been very, very strong in this third period for Calgary, and Linden has been equal to the task for the Vancouver Canucks. 5 for 7, both of them have been almost flawless, but that's not against each other.
Bure has the puck. He dodges a check from Sullivan. His shot goes off a leg, picked up by Ronning. Ronning threw it in front, and it went to the far corner. Ronning races over to pick it up. Back to Brown, to Ronning. Back to the line to Brown, into Ronning. Ronning flips it to the corner. Bure. Now Ronning. Ronning moving in. Over to Lume. It bounced away from him. Lume gets it again on a feed from Bure. Bure can't get set. He had Patrick on him quickly. Now it's Jelena in the corner. Back to the point to Lume. Jelena behind the net. The penalized player is out. Ronning is knocked off the puck by Kissio as he tried to circle out from the corner. Fleury works in against Brown. Tried to snap one, and it deflected over the glass out of play. 4:55 remaining in the third, with the game tied at 2.
You get a close game like this, sometimes guys don't stand out, but there has been a number of Calgary Flames that have had strong games, including Vernon, Zalapsky. Titov was particularly good in the first 2 periods. Courtnall for Vancouver, McLean, Trevor Linden. Lots of competition taking place on the ice, and some of the better players named as the best players in this game.
Yanni got there just ahead of Lafayette. Lafayette on the shot fired deep by Courtnall tried to take off the icing call, but Yanni got there just ahead of the speedy New Westminster native. Theoren Fleury has an assist in tonight's hockey game and has moved into a tie for the scoring leadership with 8 points. Brian Leetch of the New York Rangers got his 8 points in just 4 games, of course.
And he's plus 11 as well.
And Mike Modano also in 4 games with 5 goals.
Such a huge advantage when you can win 4 straight, particularly with the exertion that's required. More travel typically in the first round, tougher series physically at times. And when you can win 4 straight and start watching these games on television, you can still work hard in practice, stay healthy and injury-free. It's a great advantage going into series number 2, being able to watch the guys that you're going to go up against.
Babbage in the corner has Nieuwendyk on him. He can't get it past him initially, then he flips it high. Babbage has it again. 4:20 remaining. Courtnall dumps it to the corner. Yanni races back again. This time, Lafayette is checked by Stern and bumped along the boards. Lume flips it back to the corner. Yanni being watched by Charbonneau. Charbonneau in the second period scored the go-ahead goal for Vancouver. But in the third, West Walls tied it. Yanni taking all sorts of time. He has to bank it off the boards and out. No icing as Lume goes back after it. For Merzen. Merzen drives it in. Going into the corner is Courtnall. He is bumped there by Reichel. Courtnall gets his stick free. Courtnall back to the point. It bounced away from Merzen. A race for the puck. Fleury picks it up. Roberts goes for the net. In front to Roberts. And Roberts couldn't get his stick on it. And it was directed wide. Out front. Reichel can't shoot it as he's checked. Linden loses it. Fleury throws it in front of the net. Lume doing an excellent job. His stick was tied up, but he managed to knock it down with his skate. Oh, Vancouver almost got caught with too many men on the ice. Roberts shot right on, and then Courtnall runs into Roberts. Centering pass, Titoff shot blocked before it gets to the net. Pressure here by Calgary. For Patrick, he can't shoot. Now lets it go, knocked down, and Vancouver relieves the pressure by dumping it out to center ice. Now Bure couldn't get to the loose puck. Linden following up. Linden tried to cut out front. He's knocked down by Zalapsky, and Zalapsky pulls the puck underneath him, and that draws a reaction from the fans and a whistle from referee Paul Stewart.
Zalapsky with a great game so far and a clever play. People get upset when they see a hand go on the puck, but it's within the rules now. He didn't close his hand, but he threw it to his teammate. That's why the whistle blew.
We want to make it perfectly clear. You'll find guaranteed low prices at your Canadian Tire store every day. If you find a better price anywhere, we'll match it. Guaranteed.
Take a look at this defensive play here. Fleury does a great job in getting by Big Merzen, but Lume spreads out and stops the pass and gives Merzen enough time to get back to Roberts. Merzen really had to hoof it back, but Lume bought his partner enough time so that when the pass did come across, Merzen was there to accost Gary Roberts in front of the net.
9-2, Calgary out shooting Vancouver in the third period. And the Flames have been rewarded with the only goal by West Walls. It's tied at 2 with 2:37 remaining in the third. Anakin forced back of the goal by Nieuwendyk. Certainly didn't appear to be anything wrong with Nieuwendyk's knee the way he went racing into the Vancouver zone. He was injured in Game 4 here at the Pacific Coliseum. Here comes Ronning. Ronning getting set. Takes a shot wide. Vernon dumped it to the corner. Walls has it. Walls clears. Ronning leaves it along the board. Stern can't go anywhere with it. Now Memesso bumps with Stern. Musso comes in to help out. It goes back into the Calgary zone. McInnes being watched there by Jelena. And in trying to clear, Walls puts it over the glass out of play. 1:49 is the time left in the third period in a 2-2 tie.
Montreal and Boston have met 28 times in the playoffs. The 5th time they're going to a Game 7. The Habs have won 3 of 4 in Game 7. Tomorrow night, Montreal at Boston, coast to coast, 7:30 Eastern. And then Saturday night, Game 7 of this series, if necessary, Vancouver at the Saddle Dome, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks are certainly hoping that they'll be the 4th team to force a 7th game this playoff year. The last time the Canucks and Flames met, it went to a 7th game in 1989 with Joel Otto scoring in overtime. My broadcast partner Jim Poplinski set up the winning goal for the Flames that year. Charbonneau Reichel couldn't get a stick on it. Back comes Roberts. Reichel fires it in. Babbage is back for Vancouver. Babbage has to flip it high under pressure, and Yanni gathers it in. He can't do anything with it but bank it off the boards. Gerald Diddick looks across for Babbage. Babbage off the boards for Lafayette. He's checked there by Patrick. Babbage has it again. He's having problems with Reichel. Courtnall comes back to help out. Now Courtnall will flip it high. Zalapsky knocks it down. Zalapsky gets around to check, drops it back to Fleury. Fleury, look for Reichel. He couldn't get it. Reichel from a sharp angle took a shot. McLean the save. We're in the final minute. Now Sullivan is taken in against the boards by Babbage. And finally behind the goal, they succeed in holding it there. Reichel and Lafayette.
Reichel still looking for his first goal of the series. Going into the third period, he had yet to register a shot on the net tonight.
Theoren Fleury has come very close to making a couple of potential game-winning plays for the Calgary Flames in the final few minutes.
Theoren Fleury here tries to make a cross-ice pass. Watch what happens. Make the simple play, go up the boards. Courtnall has already killed you once by a turnover at the blue line. Fleury came back down and tried to make a pass across. Didn't get the puck to the net. But you can play forever as long as the other guys don't score. You saw Babbage a little bit later dump the puck out along the boards and high. Makes the safe play. If you're making the safe play, you can live to fight another day. But boy, oh boy, you turn it over at your blue line or give it up in your end and you're looking for trouble. The last thing you want to be is the goat that forces a seventh game.
44.9 seconds remaining with the face-off back in the Vancouver zone. Mike Vernon has been dazzling in the 3 games played here at the Pacific Coliseum, particularly in Game 4 with 44 shots directed his way.
Well, a real testament to the defensive play of both teams tonight. McLean and Vernon 19 and 23 shots respectively.
Patrick puts it in high off the glass. Fleury in the corner looking for someone to pass to, trying to get away from Linden. Linden gets the puck and he gets it out. Now Zalapsky put it behind Roberts. Lume goes back after it. 23 seconds remaining. At center ice, Zalapsky has it. He's played a solid game ahead to Roberts. Zalapsky has a pair of assists tonight. Bure simply chips it out with 11 seconds remaining. Both teams very cautious right now, and for a second consecutive game, it looks very much as though we are going to overtime as the pass is beyond Greg Adams as the final seconds tick away. 2-2 and overtime coming up.
Well, no matter how young you are or how old you are, you've played games either on the street or on the ice where you start calling the overtime goal as you're running down the middle of the road, scoring that goal that makes the big difference. Everybody wants to have that opportunity, and when you get to this level, you just die to be in an overtime game as much as you perhaps don't want it when the game starts. When the opportunity arises, you're salivating. The Calgary Flames will have a number of guys that are dying to get that goal, and the Vancouver Canucks will be feeling exactly the same way. It's a great challenge, and there's nothing better to watch than overtime hockey.
And I just hope it doesn't go as long as it did at the Odd in Buffalo last night.
We've got nowhere to go. I'll sit here that long.
2-2 as they head to overtime here at the Pacific Coliseum. Diddick opened the scoring at 8:38 with Linden drawing the assist. And then with 0.3 of a second remaining and Calgary on a power play in the first period, Gary Roberts in front of the net redirected a shot from a sharp angle by Theoren Fleury. Zalapsky also assisted. Vancouver out shooting the Flames 10-5 in the opening period. In the second period, Charbonneau's first of the postseason, set up by Jeff Courtnall and Lafayette. That came at 7:10. A period in which the Flames outshot the Canucks 8-7. A 2-1 lead. Would it stand up? Wes Walz tied it at 3:24 of the third time he has scored here at the Pacific Coliseum, a goal in each of the games, Zalapsky and McInnes assisting.
And this is the third of 4 goals tonight that have been a result of a deflection or a screen. When goalies are as hot as these two guys are, you got to find a way to tip it just before it gets to them or not let them see it on its way in.
So overtime is coming up. Who will emerge as the hero tonight at the Pacific Coliseum?
We won't go to the replay, but that's one. Each year as it goes by, I tell my kids what a perfectly planned play it was.
And there are a lot of fans here at the Pacific Coliseum that vividly remember that goal in 1989. Jim, in the dressing room, going into overtime, what do players say to each other? What do the coaches say?
Well, there's not a whole heck of a lot said. Most people would like to think that there's some inspirational speech that a coach or a player gives, but you know what you start to rely on is past experiences, and in particular conditioning. You think of summers and 5 or 6 out of 7 days where you're running, riding a bike, lifting weights, all of those sorts of things, and this is where you realize how important that is. The aerobic base that you built up where you can work hard and come back and recover. A coach can throw you out for 2 or 3 times. If it's Nieuwendyk or Linden, whoever that happens to be, you've got that conditioning and you don't have to worry about it. So no huge speeches. Rely on your experience and go out and make sure you play simple. Keep it to the outside. Don't go to the middle. Every chance you get, you shoot the puck. Simple things like that, a few reminders, that's all it takes. Get out and play the game and let us enjoy it.
Are players relaxed or do they make jokes? I know I heard from
Blackhawks. Doug Gilmour in the lineup tonight for the Maple Leafs, and he played an integral part in the Maple Leafs victory. And the Leafs scored first and got the only goal of the game. Dmitry Mironov and Dave Ellett assisting on this Mike Gartner goal, and that came on the power play at 14:49 of the first. The only goal in the hockey game as the Leafs in 6 games beat the Chicago Blackhawks to take them out. Felix Potvin with his 2nd straight shutout and 3rd of the series as the final game ever played at the Chicago Stadium. They'll be remembering the roar now as the Leafs beat Chicago 1-0 and now await their next opponent. Meantime, tonight at Joe Louis Arena, the Detroit Red Wings scored 4 in the first and rolled over the San Jose Sharks 7-1 to force a Game 7. That will come up Saturday night at Joe Louis Arena. Now overtime set to go here. We're tied at 2. Here's Don and Jim.
Well, there's a buzz of anticipation as the players get set for the face-off to start overtime. The record for the fastest goal in playoff overtime, 9 seconds. That was in 1986. And I think you remember that one, Jim, against the Montreal Canadiens.
Ryan Skrudland, right off a face-off, a bit of a miscue at the blue line. Skrudland jumped in, got a pass across, a deflection that beat Mike Vernon. It can happen that quick. That's why you want to be careful of everything that you do. Keep it to the outside, as we already mentioned. It doesn't mean, though, that you're afraid of making a mistake. And this is a great opportunity for coaches and general managers like Pat Quinn to evaluate the mettle of their player. Is it a guy like Fleury who thrives on competition, or is it somebody who cowers when the pressure gets a little bit too great? It's no disrespect, but you want to make sure that you're looking for those little keys that can allow you to distinguish between guys that love that competition and players that might be a little bit afraid of it. Goes for referees as well. We'll see how Paul Stewart stands up in the heat of the battle here.
Last year in the first round, 14 games went into overtime. This is only the 7th overtime game this year, the 2nd between these two teams. Hedeken lost control of the puck. Reichel on it. He shoots, and getting back to block it was Brown. Boy, did he do a great job of covering up for his partner and sprawling in front of Reichel's shot.
Now, we talked about desperation hockey, and this is a perfect example of it. Sacrificing yourself, not worrying about what it might do. Brown with a perfect 2-pad slide, not unlike the one we saw from Frank Musil not long ago. Timed that one to the millisecond and deflected a shot that would have been on Kirk McLean over the glass.
The face-off to the left of McLean. Reichel will oppose Linden. McInnes and Musil are back on the point. Linden went over and said something to Bure. The puck comes back to McInnes. McInnes, long shot. Fleury couldn't get the rebound. He tries to throw it out front, and then he's knocked down as it is gathered up by Bure. Brown attempted to set up Bure, but he had put on the brakes at the blue line. Brown goes back after it. Reichel quickly on him. Brown leaves it in the corner. Adams has it. Adams trying to use the boards. Checked there by Fleury, but he got it free to Hedeken. Hedeken trying to go around Zalapski. Taken in against the end boards. Adams flips it back to the point. Didick can't fire it at net for Adams, who's being bothered in the corner by Sullivan. Hedeken is still tangled up with Zalapski, and finally Nieuwendyk pokes the puck out to center ice. The old line about take your man was certainly apparent there as the Calgary players tied up the Vancouver players as they attempted to gain position in the zone. Now Roberts has it. Roberts can't center. Charbonneau lost it. Musil with a shot. It's knocked down, and here comes Courtnall. Courtnall working against Musil. Charbonneau racing up in the play. Courtnall puts on the brakes, lets the shot go, and Vernon kicks that to the corner. Babbage races in from the point. Charbonneau comes in as well, and they tie it up against the boards.
Well, Don, let's look through the overtime results in the preliminary round of the playoffs. Started off with Chicago, and a bit of a controversial goal. Balfour accused Wendell Clark of interfering with him. That wasn't the case, and the goal stood. Dallas, isn't it interesting how the first game was overtime and they go on to sweep, how crucial an overtime game can be? That doesn't have to be mentioned here. If Vancouver loses this one, the series is over. Toronto again, Montreal and Boston, thanks to Patrick Roy. Vancouver and Calgary, of course, and we watched and enjoyed that one. And then last night, Dave Hannon, after 65 minutes and 43 seconds, an entire game on its own, or in excess of that, it took to settle a very, very interesting and exciting game between Jersey and Buffalo.
Here's Kissio. He can't reach the puck. Centers it, deflected, back to the line. Musil with a shot. Broken up by Ronning, and Ronning lost it in his skates at center ice. Roberts turns it the other way. Roberts, a weak shot wide. Kissio dumps it back to the net for Fleury. Now Murzin goes to the other corner. Murzin moves it ahead. Ronning has it. He has Jelena with him. Mamesso goes for the net. Back to the line for Lume. Lume trying to escape Roberts. Having some problems getting free. Leaves it in the corner for Jelena. Jelena slipped it back to Ronning. It was knocked past him. Kissio comes away with Roberts. Kissio runs into a check. Lume goes back. He's watched by Roberts. Flipped up along the boards and out. Cruz will drive it back in. Roberts went to the bench on the change. Yanni fires it back into the Vancouver zone. Lume has Titov on him. Off the boards for Jelena. He frees it for Linden. Linden looking for Adams. Adams races to the corner. Tied up there by Sullivan. Linden fighting along the boards. It comes to the line and out. A race for the puck. Going after it. It's Cruz. Cruz moves in. He shoots high off the glass. And it deflects out of play.
Well, Paul Cruz would be an unlikely scorer, but that's happened times before. A couple of names from the past that scored big overtime goals against the Vancouver Canucks that played for the Calgary Flames. Eddie Beers, Greg Meredith. Beers of Merritt, BC. Cruz also of Merritt, BC, as he jumps in off the wing. Went a little bit high. Cruz, with great speed, allows him to play a very physical game and be there to make contact. Lots of guys like to play a tough game, but if you don't have the wheels and you can't get there, it's kind of frustrating. Overtime records for the Flames in Vancouver sit in front of you.
Brown cuts right in front of his own net as Linden won the draw. Brown gets to center, drives it in, gets it off the end boards in front. Out front now, and it's gathered up by Zalapski. Zalapski getting set, throws it towards the net. McLean steers it to the corner. Titov was tied up. Now it's Brown getting set, winds, and a long shot is steered to the corner by Vernon. Patrick moves it ahead to Cruz. To Sullivan. Long shot. McLean plays it ahead. Bure to Courtnall. Back to Bure. Shoots. Saved by Vernon. Sullivan comes the other way with Nieuwendyk. A long shot that McLean flips to the corner. Didick gathers the puck. He starts away with Charbonneau. McInnes and Musso back. Didick trying to work through. He's upended by Musso, and the fans thought there should have been a penalty. But I think it would have to be a flagrant infraction for Paul Stewart to make a call in this overtime session. Courtnall gets it back to Didick. Didick opened the scoring in tonight's game. Dahl takes it back of his own net. Passes beyond the reach of Walls. Remember, in every game in this series, the team that has opened the scoring has gone on to win the hockey game. And tonight, the Vancouver Canucks opened the scoring. Roberts cuts off a clearing attempt, and then Merza got back to prevent Roberts from driving to the net. Ronning having some problems working away from a check to Jelena. Jelena trying to go around Yanni. Yanni pokes it away from him. Roberts picks it up in the corner. Luman knocks it down, flipped back in, offside by Ronning.
Boy, some great end-to-end action. A super play by Dana Merzen to stop Gary Roberts as he charged to the net. Vancouver, over the last couple of minutes, had two great scoring opportunities. Brown really lets this shot fly. Look at Vernon look over. Who shot that, he says. And then Bure. This had 32,300 legs jump up. The sold-out crowd was standing as Bure jumped in. You be the judge as to whether you want to call on that. Musso clearly had already made his stand. And Roberts with a steal here. Dana Merzen was just getting his big carcass in front of Roberts, making sure that the puck, and if not that, Roberts was coming with him. A good play by the former Flame to stop Gary Roberts.
32,300 legs. You're convinced everybody's got two of them here tonight.
Except the fisherman that you're looking to get that salmon off of, Don.
Brown gets to the corner for an icing call against Calgary.
Well, these are the times that age a coach, general manager, depending on what titles you carry. Pat Quinn has been through lots of overtimes as a player, as a coach, as a general manager, and as a general manager and coach. Arthur Griffith has turned around looking away from the rink. And Dave King has been through overtimes as well as a coach in junior hockey and as a coach in the National League. Now, he has had some very, very trying moments, Don. You and I have watched him in a number of those at the Olympics in 1992. Nothing gets more emotional than a shootout, and Dave King had a number of close ones in that one to wade through.
Yes, it was Eric Lindros who won a game against Germany with a shootout. Here comes Fleury. Fleury shoots, and that's up high on McLean, and it goes back to the net. Fleury comes out front, and he was checked by Hedican as he got another shot. Hedican dumps it to the corner. Going back after it is Sullivan. Bure races in. Tried to bump him in against the boards. Zalapsky can't clear. Now Patrick will try and get it out. Ahead to Fleury with Titov. Titov coming in against Brown. Titov falls in the corner. Brown flips it up high, knocked down, and oh! Linden thought he had Bure in the clear for a breakaway, but Bure had turned the other way. Linden is checked by Fleury. Titov hauled down by Linden. And Linden gets the puck back. Linden again looking for Bure. Broken up at the line by Zalapsky. He has really had a strong game. This might be his best game of the playoffs.
Well, and Zalapsky doesn't even look like he's tired. Dave King calls him a horse.